The chief priests and the whole council sought false testimony against Yeshua to put him to death, and having found none, they condemned him for not denying that he was the Anointed. Mattai chapter 27. Now when morning was come, all the chief priests and the elders of the people took counsel against Yeshua to put him to death. And they bound him and led him away, and delivered him up to Pilatu the governor. Then Yehuda, who betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself, and brought back the 30 silver pieces to the chief priests and elders, saying, I have sinned in that I betrayed innocent blood. But they said, What is that to us? See thou to it. And he, having cast down the silver pieces into the sanctuary, withdrew, and having departed, hanged himself. And the chief priests took the pieces of silver, and said, It is not lawful to put them into the korbanah, since it is the price of blood. And they took counsel, and bought with them the potter's field, to bury strangers in, for what reason that field was called the field of blood to this day. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken through Jeremiah the prophet, saying, And they took the 30 silver pieces, the price of him that was priced, whom certain of the children of Israel did price, and they gave them for the potter's field, as Lord Yahweh appointed me. Now Yeshua stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, Art thou being the king of the Yehudim? And Yeshua said to him, Thou art saying. And when he was accused by the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing. Then saith Pilatu to him, Hearest thou not how many things they witness against thee? And he gave him no answer, not even to one word, insomuch that the governor marveled greatly. Now at the festival the governor had been accustomed to release to the multitude one prisoner, whom they would. And they had then a notable prisoner, called Barabbas. When therefore they were gathered together, Pilatu said to them, Who are ye wanting that I release to you, Barabbas or Yeshua, the one being called Anointed? For he knew that for envy they had delivered him up. And while he was sitting on the judgment seat, his woman sent to him, saying, Have thou nothing to do with that righteous man? For I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. Now the chief priests and the elders persuaded the multitudes that they should ask for Barabbas and should destroy Yeshua. But the governor answered and said to them, Which of the two are ye wanting that I release to you? And they said, Barabbas. Pilatu saith to them, What then shall I do to Yeshua, the one being called Anointed? They all say, Let him be crucified. And he said, Why, what evil hath he done? But they cried out exceedingly, saying, Let him be crucified. So when Pilatu saw that he prevailed nothing, but rather that a tumult was arising, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this righteous man. See ye to it. And all the people answered and said, His blood be on us and on our children. Then released he to them Barabbas, but having whipped Yeshua, he delivered him so that he be crucified. Then the soldiers of the governor took Yeshua into the praetorium, and gathered to him the whole cohort. And they stripped him, and put on him a scarlet robe, and they, having plaited a crown of thorns, put it upon his head, and a reed in his right hand. And they kneeled down before him, and mocked him, saying, Be thou rejoicing, O King of the Yehudim! And they spat upon him, and took the reed, and smote him on the head. And when they had mocked him, they took off from him the robe, and put on him his garments, and led him away into the crucifying. And as they came out, they found a man of Kurene, Simon by name. Him they compelled to go with them, that he might bear his cross. And when they were come to a place called Golgotha, that is to say, the place of a skull, they gave him wine to drink mingled with gall, and when he had tasted it, he would not drink. And they, having crucified him, parted his garments among them, casting a lot. And they sat and watched him there. And they set up over his head his accusation written, This is Yeshua, the King of the Yehudim. Then 2 robbers are being crucified with him, one on the right-hand side, and one on the left. And they that passed by railed on him, wagging their heads, and saying, Thou that destroyest the temple, and buildest it in 3 days, save thyself. If thou art a son of the God, come down from the cross. In like manner also the chief priests, mocking him with the scribes and elders, said, He saved others. Himself he cannot save. He is the King of Israel. Let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe on him. He trusteth upon the God. Let him deliver him now, if he desireth him. For he said, I am God's son. And the robbers also, the ones having been together crucified with him, cast upon him the same reproach. Now from the 6th hour there was darkness over all the land until the 9th hour. And about the 9th hour Yeshua cried out with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is, my God, why didst thou forsake me? And some of them that stood there, when they heard it, said, This man calleth Eliah. And immediately one of them ran, and took a sponge, and filled it with vinegar, and put it on a reed, and gave him to drink. And the rest said, Let be, let us see whether Eliah cometh to save him. And Yeshua cried again with a loud voice, and yielded up his spirit. And behold, the veil of the temple was torn in two from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks were torn, and the tombs were opened, and many bodies of the holy ones that had fallen asleep were raised. And coming forth out of the tombs after his resurrection, they entered into the holy city, and appeared to many. Now the 100 ruler, and they that were with him watching Yeshua, when they saw the earthquake, and the things that were done, feared exceedingly, saying, Truly this man was being a son of a god. And many women were there beholding from afar, who had followed Yeshua from the Galilee, serving to him, among whom was Maria Magdalene, and Maria the mother of Jacob, and Joses, and the mother of the sons of Zebedee. And evening having become, there came a rich man from Arimathea, named Joseph, who also himself was Yeshua's disciple. This man went to Pilate, and asked for the body of Yeshua. Then Pilate commanded it to be given up. And Yosef took the body and wrapped it in a clean linen cloth, and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had hewn out of the rock. And he rolled a great stone to the door of the tomb, and departed. And Maryam Magdalita was there, and the other Maria, sitting over against the sepulchre. Now on the morrow, which is the day after the preparation, the chief priests and the Parishayah were gathered together to Pilate, saying, Sir, we remember that deceiver said while he was yet alive, After 3 days I am being raised. Command therefore that the sepulchre be made sure until the 3rd day, lest perhaps his disciples come and steal him away, and say to the people, He was raised from the dead ones, and the last error will be worse than the first. Pilate said to them, Ye have a guard. Go, make it as sure as ye can. So they went and made the sepulchre sure, sealing the stone, the guard being with them.